Oh shoot, podcast. Are we doing a podcast?
Damn, gotta accept this Discord call.
Accepting the Discord call.
Why would you ever accept a Discord
Hey
call?
guys, whoa, just got in here. What have I missed?
Whoa, no
Whoa,
way.
whoa,
Bro, I
whoa,
just
whoa.
joined too because I was getting a Discord call notification.
I joined 3! I wonder who set this up. It could be someone in this very room.
No, that's impossible.
No, everyone in here is too much of a dumbass.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it'd be retarded to do that.
Yeah, I hate using Skype. And on that note, welcome to episode 3 of the TweeCast.
This is on TeamSpeak?
This is on
Bum,
TeamSpeak.
bum.
This
I
is
swear I launched TeamSpeak.
Yo, Steam voice chat?
Yo, are we communicating through fax machines right now? Holy shit.
This is really fast Morse code.
Yo, can we just communicate through screams we're hearing into the aether right now?
Hang on, let me just... Sorry, I was reading Braille.
Why were you banging your fist against the braille?
I was pulling my hand
hey,
against
I'm reading
the
Braille.
microphone. Is the Braille on a kid's face? Oh no, look, you got Braille.
Your kid's face is the braille, and my finger is my fist.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you?
I don't know, fucking chicken. I fucking hate kids.
So on a good note, what's the topic of conversation today?
Right, I was meant to write topics. Turns out.
Oh, you fool!
Turns out, I didn't write topics because I've been busy. But I'm like,
Alright.
this needs to get filled.
A fool's response.
A fool's response. So, we can go off of other things, such as topics we come up with on the spot because we're funny.
What's your guys' opinion on racism against white people?
Yo, I love it because we deserve it.
I'm not legally allowed to give my opinions on that.
What do you mean? I mean, like.
No, we're not Brayan. We're not going. No, Brayan. No.
No.
Let's talk about something more interesting. So, guys, I got a keyboard.
Yeah, it's a
Yay.
keyboard. God, this is gonna go horribly.
I already want to nick.
Can I
I
get
can't
a
say that.
copyright strike, baby?
No. Yo, can you play the
Take a look at
the iPhone bum 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 bum
Oh, I
bum
can't.
bum 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 bum.
So, do you guys have any musical experiences in your past lives?
Yeah, I played the guitar for like a month.
I was
played.
Beethoven.
I legitimately I did violin for 6 years and piano for 8.
Not surprised.
I wasn't like surprise, the Asian got forced by his parents to do fucking instruments.
Surprise! The white kid got forced to play piano for 8 years. Suckle on that teat, nerd.
I didn't.
Yeah, because you're whiter.
Good job.
Yeah, I just.
But either
Yeah.
way, I have
too busy
like a
being awesome.
long, extensive history of doing instruments and stuff.
Why don't you rattle on about that for about 10 minutes while I go, mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want me?
Yeah, I want stories. I don't care what the
Okay,
stories are about.
I mean,
I've got
I
the
remember
Queen of
I went
England
through
on
like
Penny.
five piano teachers. I
Turn
only had
them
like
off.
one violin teacher, and it was this one Asian guy. He wasn't the most literate in English,
Yes, and div.
but he was very good at violin, and I really liked playing violin. And I did the violin for an orchestra because of stuff I had learned from him. It was really fun. Except I also went to I think it was a music camp because of my orchestra affiliation. Like I went out into like random parts of the scary
woods.
New Zealand forest country.
By Jazz.
And I did a orchestra camp where I was basically told, "Hey, you get to play violin for 2 weeks and eat food with people that you vaguely know."
Hey, quick
Actually,
quick question.
mm,
Any of the counselors there fuck you?
no. But on the
Metaphorically,
topic,
metaphorically.
no,
Oh. What? What?
no, I'm kidding. I think the oldest we had was like 15, maybe 16. So maybe it could have been happening, but I'm not sure.
Bro, no, you put a whole bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds. It was happening.
Yeah, I was 10, 9, 10. So yeah, I actually did have a crush on a girl at that camp though.
15, 16-year-old.
Oh, oh, we're talking about our
No, it was
first
another 8 or
crushes?
9-year-old. Like it was just 9-year-old crush, but I think yeah she was also a violinist, and I met her at the camp, and I told her like I was like we were practicing orchestra and stuff, and then like a week later after I'd gone like back to just doing regular orchestral practices, she starts going to the same like
Oh.
school practice area that I did, and then I quit 2 weeks later.
You
I thought that was
fucking
going to end up
blew
in some,
it!
lovely, oh, we still talk. No, Rob just
No,
ran away.
I don't even remember her name.
You know the fucking meme where like the guy just puts out his fingers and he just fades away? That's literally what Brayan did. I want to hear otherwise. He's just and gone.
Yeah, I mean, like we did like one performance together, I think, at a
Aww.
whole. Um, and yeah, I don't know, it was just really fun. I don't remember their name or like anything. I just remember the experience, and I don't know, it was a fun time.
Alright.
What about
My
you? Said
first,
you
first crush.
said-
I'm going to first crush because you mentioned like
Okay.
sort of that sort of thing. I
Okay.
was 4.
Oh,
This was in preschool.
Tyler found a stick.
Anyway, jammed in my ass. Oh boy, the hospital bill.
A stick that looked slightly like a gun.
Ooh. No, so I was 4, and she was 4, and we was preschool, so like everyone got along. It's preschool stuff. There were kids who cried. I was probably one of those kids. I don't remember that well, but she turned 5, so she left to go to
Good
the
God.
primary school right next door, and I was like, oh, because I got like really upset because I'm like, oh, but she's so cool and stuff like when I was like 5, and then
yeah.
when I actually turned 5 and went to that school, she left. So I never saw her again.
Bro,
So
that's
I,
what Rob did to the girl, to the
Got
girl
it.
did it to you.
yeah. So I was like genuinely like distraught, like, oh, I can't wait to see her again because she's so cool and stuff. And then she just fucking wasn't there, and I was like, oh,
Dual fingers.
I guess I'll hang out with these guys then.
These guys look pretty cute.
Actually, now that we're going to primary school crushes, holy crap! I think I had like 2.
Ooh, so stories.
At once?
Okay, the first one, it was just some random like. I'm pretty sure like the best description was 5-year-old nerd girl.
Oh,
Because-
those are the best type of 5-year.
Tyler.
No, I'm mostly saying that because the main feature that I remember was I thought she was a nerd, and B, she wore glasses, which is why I thought she was
has
a
to be
nerd. Yeah,
That works.
but that was 5-year-old me, and I don't know, I just really liked them. I always tried to sit next to them in class and stuff. I didn't really get to know them, but I really just liked being around them, and that was kind of my entire thing with it.
That's what
I
most
think she
crushes
did
are
start
when
to
you're younger,
notice and
yeah.
actually start to talk to me. And yeah, we were just like, I don't know, it was a weird thing, but we were kind of like friends, and we would always like stand in a similar place in line together whenever we had to like line up to go somewhere. And yeah, I was just really happy about that. And then I left the school.
The rest of you are running
What's
away
up,
from
you?
the
Yeah,
thing.
it's just like this could be someone I could potentially fall in love with. Nah,
Bucket.
like just gone.
Anyway, I moved school to somewhere near a new place that we started living. Oh wait, no, actually, I didn't stop going to the school. I think it was she left.
Yeah,
Oh,
change the
so-
plan.
Yeah.
No,
Revealing
but like
secrets,
I
Rob.
remember it was like something that like we just stopped like hanging out. Either it was because I changed classes or she left or something.
Mm.
I was really sad about that. And then when I moved school, it was when I was like 7. I forgot her name. I think it was a gemstone. All I remember is that it was a gemstone.
Oh no.
There's a new girl name that was like a gemstone, and
Oh, Lord.
Aquamarine.
Well, that's a color.
and so basically, I was like 7-year-old. We were in assembly. I was like kind of like sitting with my like hands behind like just on the back of like a seat, and then I felt a hand touch mine. I looked over, it was just this random girl, and I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
That's a
And
primary
then
school
like
reaction,
I
though.
started noticing her more. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like,
Touched
oh
me
shoot.
weirdly.
And then I think I left at like year 4. So yeah. But it was a very like short experience of that happened. I don't know what that was about. But
Gordon!
nah, she just yeah. No, yeah,
Hold
sorry.
up.
Gordon.
Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to... Yeah, Gordon, you have any first questions? Come on, buddy.
Queen of the Wood.
Come on, you gotta have one.
No, I had one in. Actually, my first one was in year 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Before that point, you're like, everyone's stupid and dumb. I'm gonna go eat bugs.
I just got bullied for the first 6 years of my school life. No, but what was her name? Angela, something along those lines. But it was pretty common knowledge that I liked her and she liked me.
Mm.
And then for the next 2 years, like, we just hung out. And then I left school. I pulled her off and booked it because, yeah, no, it was like more in year 7. Like, I liked her from year 6, but like into year 7, everyone was like, "Oh, Gordon likes Angela. Angela likes Gordon."
And Gordon's
And
like,
then literally
I
nothing
like
happened
News,
from
News
there.
likes me.
That was a couple years later. Yeah, I moved away.
Yeah, so I think that's most of the consensus though. It's always like you move away or like they leave or you leave or something.
I mean,
Like
that's what it's
'cause
like in primary
early
school.
childhood crushes, they never really end
Go
because
anywhere.
they like you stop liking them. It's just because they leave.
Yeah, it's always like you swap schools, you like your family moves away like that. I probably would have dated her if I didn't move away.
Do you think if more people like don't like move away or something, do that like more like early childhood?
Wherever you went to school,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
have to stay there for the rest of your life.
No, but like what I'm saying, like
More than
early
13 years here.
like early childhood to later childhood, do you think those like actually become like
Yeah,
more
they do. They do.
like more
Yeah.
solid? They do, yeah. All right.
Yeah, because you know each
Well,
other.
because
like,
you know
now.
them for a long time.
And it's like, you know what? I think I actually have feelings for you. And they're like, yeah, I've had feelings for you for a while. Let's make this work.
Whoa!
I think we can make this work. And then
I'm
3 weeks,
like,
and then 3 minutes later, it's like, you know, like that shit.
Tyler?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's just crying that you're at your like beautiful wedding.
Fucking primary school, Tyler.
No, I mean like the feelings that may happen like later on.
You said 3 weeks later. I'm like, Jesus, that's not far enough. That's not far
3
enough.
months. He said 3 months.
God, more like 3
I
years.
said 3 minutes. I have another story from primary school. I have 2 stories from primary school I'm willing to tell.
I have one after.
In year 6, it
Okay.
was like people. This is okay. I look back at this and I find this hilarious, but at the time I was crying. So I was in class, and we were like talking about like I think it was like some sort of like puberty talk or some shit or some random shit. It was like you like your friends will be there for you and everything, and I just burst into tears. I'm like, I don't have any friends.
Well, I can relate too much to that. It was my
like,
fault,
and then one of the girls, deadpan, who I hated, she straight up just said to me, I'm your friend, and I just started crying harder, because I'm like, I don't want her to be my friend, because I hated her. And it
That's
was,
so sad.
I look back on it because it's stupid, because it's like, ugh. And then I have
I
another
don't
story.
know-
When leaving
Right.
that school, I legitimately was like, ah, the memories. And like, I walked around the entire school. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the slide where a kid broke their arm. That's the fort where the kid broke their arm. God, there was a lot of arm breaking at the school. And that was it. That's all the story was. I was just,
That's where I broke that
realized-
kid's arm.
I don't really have
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
where I
primary
almost died.
stories.
Oh, I have, oh,
Well-
actually, can I interrupt you with one more story?
Okay, if you have one more.
So at the primary school, there was a shed where there was PE gear where you could just go in. And so two people, year 5 and 6, the older kids in the primary school,
The seniors.
did the morning tea and lunch for it as like a routine sort of thing. I tried to get that as much as possible for the sole reason of there were giant mats in there.
Oh, you would jump on the mats?
They would want you out. The teachers want you out of there, so you'd have to be sneaky. You'd have to lock it when they weren't looking. So it looked like you straight up were not in there anymore.
Just left.
And then you just went on the mats. I almost died in those mats. If I'm honest, I got stuck in there one day. Like I went up the top. It's like giant vertical mats. They're like big blue ones. They're thick.
Yeah.
And I got
The high jump
squished in
mats.
between them.
Jesus.
And I actually got stuck, and my friend, which I'm not going to name because I don't like to do names, which legitimately had to pull my head to get me out.
Ah!
And
No.
yeah, that's the story. So I almost died in there.
Bro,
Uh,
I actually have one after Gordon's.
I have two.
Okay.
One from kindergarten and one from well, a couple from primary. But in kindergarten, you know those like big wooden like tube things?
yeah, dildos.
What? Elaborate.
Yeah.
elaborate.
Well, like those like
Wooden
in the
tube, as in, like-
playgrounds, you could go up and like crawl through them, and like they had like
Oh,
little
yeah.
slits in between the bits of wood.
Oh yeah,
You know how
like
you could climb on top of
the
them?
crawlways. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Gordon,
crawlway
I think I
tubes.
know where you're going with this.
You know how you could climb on top of them?
Yeah.
Some kid climbed up and called me fat, so I pushed him off. And it wasn't exactly a low playground.
Oh, wait, did he have to go to the nurse?
He was crying for about 2 hours.
Oh,
I remember the teacher was questioning me, like, why'd you push him off? I was sitting there laughing. I was just giggling to myself. And then at primary school, we also had the PE sheds. And I remember we locked a kid in there.
What the fuck? That's such a jump, dude.
I was never a nice child. We locked a kid in there. And we forgot about him.
No.
We left the kid in there and we ran off to go play. And it wasn't until like after lunch where the teacher was like, "Oh, where's so and so?" And we were like, "Oh, shite." And we asked the teacher for the keys, sprinted off, and came back with the kid. And the teacher was like, "Where'd you guys go?" And we were like, "Nowhere."
Well, she would have figured that out. Like they.
No, she wanted us to rat ourselves out, but we weren't going to. And then second story, final story. When I was year 8,
This
there was a girl in year 4.
This is not gonna be
I
good.
think.
This is not
No,
gonna be
no,
good.
no, it's not going that way.
Okay.
You know how deep my voice is now?
Yeah.
This girl had a deeper voice than me. Like, legitimately, I heard her talk once, and like she was friends with my brother, so I heard Greg. Like, legitimately, it was so deep, it was scary, like frightening. And she was our neighbor, and so once she was out in her backyard on the trampoline, and we were also in our backyard, and I was out doing something, and all I hear is Greg, Greg, Greg. And she was just bouncing up and down the tramp trying to get my brother's attention, and I'm still frightened.
And just a dark, ominous hallway. Gordon's just trapped in the back of it. You're like, oh god! And then into the light, the girl appears with a knife and just Gordon.
Fear me.
And then like, just like quickly skulls where you're like, ah! And then it just cuts to black.
Bro, that was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. Rob, your turn.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay, okay, so this is back like year 2, I think year 2.
Good God.
So I went to an after school program because we were like having like we were moving away, and like I still need to go to the same school for a bit. But I went to an after school care program so that like my parents could do their work and then come pick me up later. And they told me that I wasn't allowed to bring my phone because I had one at the time, and
Which kid?
I wasn't allowed to bring my phone. I did.
By Jove.
I brought my phone, one day, and I told everybody like I went to this after school care program, and there was like this group of girls that I don't know, I was just talking to for some reason, and I pull out my phone. I'm like, hey, I'm not supposed to have this, so don't do anything that might like tell my parents that I have this. And we all agreed like I wasn't gonna have anything like on it, and then they decided to take a selfie with it. And my mother like checked my phone because I wasn't very good at hiding the fact that I really like to use my phone. And she just kind of pointed the photo, like, "What's this?" And I just started crying.
I love how that's like every kid's approach to being like found out is break down.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much. It's just
It is. It's just like, uh-oh.
Maybe if I
Alright. This story may sound fucked. This is another thing.
Oh,
I
no.
accidentally did blackface.
oh,
So,
I'm invested.
back in primary school, right?
yeah.
We were they once a week on Tuesdays they taught us about the Lord and Savior
They made
Jesus
us do
Christ.
blackface.
No, they taught about Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and stuff. Technically I didn't do blackface, but we'll get to this. This is just the best way I could phrase it.
Definitely not.
And they gave it like books with like heaps of people in those books, and like they were like, you can learn about the verse in the Bible like really easily because they were really big on like pushing Christianity and stuff.
Yeah.
I spent the entire time making every face black in the book because I'm like, this is stupid. Da, 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 da. And it was like really like down to a T. I didn't realize at the time it was blackface until I got pulled aside.
Because you don't know what blackface is.
Bro, I only figured out what
I didn't know
blackface
black
was
people
because of
were-
Tropic Thunder.
I didn't know black people were a thing till I was 10.
What? What do you mean? Wait, no, hold on. What do you
You
mean?
have a black kid in your
There was
kindergarten class?
didn't have, like, a-
there was no black kids. There was not even like Asian kids. It was just white people. And so
What? Why?
There was a black kid that moved there, and I'm like, oh, you're different.
Bro, no, wait, I'm telling you.
I was just
feel
imagining
bad.
you like,
I
are
feel-
you okay?
This was a gym story.
No, okay. Do not hate me for this. At the time, I thought it was disease. I was like, why is he a different color? I didn't know. Because I was 10 and I never seen black people
Bro,
before.
I remember
So I was
Actually, that-
genuinely
okay,
at the gym.
confused.
Like a minor side tangent. That reminds me, like, okay, you know the game Fallout Shelter?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Like 2016.
Yeah.
I was 8.
Don't tell me you learned
Um,
what sex is from Fallout Shelter.
No. I
you guys
never
didn't?
put. I like. This is just like a minor like.
Did you
I know-
segregate the people?
Yeah.
God.
It was always, and like whenever I wanted more dwellers, like children dwellers, it was always black people with black people and white people with white people because they
Well,
weren't
you
allowed to
segregated them.
crossbreed.
Oh my God.
Bro!
I thought I was oh.
Yeah, but your story is like, oh, it's an innocent child. Rob's segregating people.
He was,
I was
8. though.
8.
Yeah, like when you're a kid, you don't know what that shit is. You don't
Like
know.
also the fact that like kids are naturally like, what they
Different
naturally
things
see
don't want to be together.
patterns,
Yeah.
like cut like patterns and colored patterns.
Like if you had a Lego set as a kid, I color sorted everything before I started building it because it allowed me to easily find all the pieces.
Yeah, this is true.
So like,
I suppose I didn't grow up in a KKK neighborhood and saw a black kid throw a kid.
I think I knew black people existed. I just thought they were like a different race.
Rob's
Not
just
like
colored.
as in like not just like a different culture, as in an actual different race.
But they were aliens.
No, like, cause like, I didn't know better, and then like, cause the weird thing is, I was partnered with this kid to do like reading.
Started asking
The one-on-one
questions.
reading. So the entire time I was thinking like, oh no, am I gonna become black for being near this kid?
You told me
I
this
don't know
when we
why
were
that
at the
just never
gym.
happened.
Oh,
But I'm
it's
just
so
imagining
amazing.
that there's a kid out there. No, there's a kid out there. You got paired with like a person of a different race, and then just started crying.
Oh no, there actually is.
I wasn't that bad. I'm just like, what? I was just confused. I think I had a chat with my mom, and she's like, "Oh no, I raised you wrong. We need to have a chat, Tyler."
Are you contagious?
No. Oh. I have another story. This one's really good. The Simpsons told me what gays are. I am not kidding with this story.
Tyler, legitimately, same.
It was an episode where Homer was hanging out with a gay guy who was like with like flowered shirts and stuff, and then Marge is like, he's a homosexual, and then Homer didn't realize, and he's like, ah, like he didn't realize, and I'm like, I don't get this. So I went to my mom, who was in the other room, like with my sister. This is also when Emma learned out about. So I think I was 9, and she'd be 6, and I was like, what's a homosexual? And Mom was like, oh. Where'd you hear that word? And I'm like, The Simpsons played it. They said it, and I explained it like, oh, like Marge was like, oh, and then Homer was like, oh, and then she's like, it's when two people of the same gender like each other, and I'm like, ah. I like my friends, and she's like, "Oh fuck."
I'm kind of like
Your brain was faulty.
I heard about gay people. I think through it was something, but like I think like someone in the church was having a conversation about it. You know, I asked about it, and they told me, oh, it's when two people of the same with like two boys like each other. No hesitation. My first reaction was just, ew! And then
that is the two reactions you get from a kid. Either they fucking freak out, or they're like, "Oh,
yeah, cool.
Maybe I'm gay," because I like boys because they're my friends.
Yeah, no, it's either because they think immediately love, or oh, I'm gay because I like my friends.
There is no in between.
There is no in between.
It's one or the other. You can't have both.
Okay.
And I think my reaction was along Rob's.
This is a lot of like primary school talk. I have
It's ironic
story.
where I ended up, but like with that as well.
You went from ew to
Tyler.
That was like really descriptive. The noise
that made me feel uncomfortable.
Okay, I have another story. So the PE shed had like heaps of different equipment. There was like rugby balls, soccer balls.
Back to the PE shed.
There was tennis balls for tennis, but I didn't use it for tennis.
Holy shit! What tennis balls for tennis?
There were also hockey sticks, and my child brain was like, "I can play mini golf."
No! Tyler, you did not whack the tennis ball with a hockey stick.
I whacked the tennis ball with a hockey stick to play mini
God
golf.
damn!
And I had the time of my life. Kids were looking at me like, what the fuck? And some kids would like, because kids are dicks, they would just kicked it out of the way. I'm like, oh, come on, why are you doing that? And yeah. And
Stop it! I don't like it!
I have a lot of fucking childhood story. Do you want me to tell you about, there was a kid who got expelled at my school?
Yeah.
And, okay.
I have a couple stories on that, go ahead.
There was a kid, not saying names, but, he was one,
Gerard.
like, everyone at the school went to, like, swimming, apart from, like, the kids who didn't bring their swimming gear because they couldn't. So there were, like, 10 kids, and he was one of them. And this is all from air, because I was out swimming. When we were coming back, like, one of my mates was like, dude, do you hear what just happened? And I'm like, no. And it's just like, yeah, he's in trouble. And I'm like, oh, who's in trouble? And then they from what they heard, so I don't even know if this is true, they went on a rampage. They locked everyone in a room, threatened them with their lives, barricaded every door, and it was basically a hostage situation.
How? And what was he holding them up with?
I don't know, scissors probably. Like this is from.
Well, if it's a primary school, it's safety scissors.
Yeah, he was threatening them though, and I'm just sitting here like,
Oh,
dude, that's
oh
sick.
my god, I just remembered something. Oh, I just remembered something.
Alright,
Bro, there
Brayan,
was
go
something
ahead.
that happened like.
Sorry, no. I like unlocked a memory. Holy crap, I forgot. Like
memory.
I forgot about this. Oh god. Okay. Cut to 3rd grade. Now, okay. Do I start with the bite or animal noises?
What the fuck? Rob, did you
that
have
a part of 87?
Okay, so anyway, okay. I'll start with the bite because it's the easier story to explain. The other one was just how I was as a kid. So anyway, I had a friend named Otis.
From Barnyard?
Either way, not his actual name. Like I had the name Otis.
from Barnyard.
But anyway, he was grabbing me like in a weird chokehold, like, and like it was putting his forearm in my mouth, and I was sitting there for about a minute, really confused about like what I was supposed to do, as he was just like holding me, and I wasn't allowed to leave, and the teacher wasn't doing anything, so I just bit his arm. And then he was like, "Ah, why'd you do that?" And he started crying. And the teacher's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I bit his arm." And he's like still crying. And he's like, "Why'd you do that?" He wasn't letting go of me. You shouldn't have bit his arm, but he wasn't letting go of me.
Kid's got
You
blood
shouldn't have bit his
flowing
arm,
down his
but he
arm.
wasn't letting go of me.
Yeah, like, okay. They don't fucking. Why do they punish the wrong people? Like,
I don't care.
I get it, but they always punish the person because, like, no, you should not do that. No, I don't care that if you're getting your kick shit out of you. The moment you fight back, we're punishing you. And it's always like that. It's stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. And like, I was basically, what I learned from that wasn't don't bite people. It was learn to hide when you're biting people better.
Yeah, see? You learn the wrong shit because you're like, oh, I got in trouble for biting him. Okay, I'll bite him more sneakily.
I'm gonna just do that a bit sneakily.
Yeah.
Bro, but along the lines of what Tyler said, we also had a kid that did that.
What, locked the school and fucking
Pretty much. He flipped the table, and it took 2 of the teachers to pin him to said table, like with permission and stuff. So he was like genuinely violent, and because I was his friend, or someone he considered a friend, they sent me in to go calm him down.
It's like a hostage situation. It's, hey, can you release the hostages? Gordon says like really politely, no! Ah!
They sent the scrawniest little kid in. I'm sitting there. I haven't grown yet, so I'm just sitting there, like with small shoulders. Like the mummy hit myself. The kid sitting like that. I'm just standing like that, like, can you calm down, please? And he was always like, no, I don't want it. I'm like, please.
I have my own hostage child story after this one's finished.
Everyone's
Well,
got
why
a
are so many
hostage.
hostage children situations?
No, okay, mine was an anti-hostage situation. I was the hostage taker, but like.
Come on,
Okay.
go ahead.
So, after school care program, year 5, year 6, we had this like high end spectrum autistic kid.
Bro.
Oh no.
And basically, one day he just started shouting, "I'm gonna take off my pants!"
He's like my brother.
So I started panicking because I had seen him take off his pants before with no hesitation.
Rob's got PTSD.
So I immediately just shouted, "Everyone in the shed!" As I like backed all of them into like this beer shed inside of the assembly hall, and I shut the door on them as I like kept it closed. As this kid basically took off his pants and shirt and started running around the hall back and forth while screaming. And like sometimes the kids inside would be like, "Is it safe to come out now?" I just slammed the door in their face. No.
Oh.
Bro,
His
speaking of
parents,
nudity,
I had to keep them inside till his parents came to pick him up,
speaking of
and then I
nudity,
let them out afterward. But like it was just like, oh yeah, sorry, no, it was just I kept them in there like for like 30 solid minutes.
Rob's a connoisseur at hostage taking.
Okay, so at primary school, these are all primary school stories, and they're great. But at primary school, essentially flushing the toilet was a death sentence. Because
no one did it.
No, there was an unspoken rule. The moment you flush the toilet, they're allowed to come in. And the next person goes. So, I don't care if your pants are still down, next person goes in. So, I think I was the only kid who was smart enough to do this. I pulled my pants up, then flushed. So then I was like, alright, I'm done. And I know, I've seen so many bare asses when I was like 10. Because it's just like, alright, I'm next. Alright, and, yep, alright, cool. Like, the amount of, because it was like an unspoken rule. It's like, they were like, teachers like, alright, we're back for this thing, everyone go to the toilet if you need to go, and it was just like there was like a line of like 12 kids, and they all just needed to go, and so it was like, the moment the toilet flushed, you're out of there. Who cares if your pants are down, you are gone!
Actually, okay.
And girls wonder why it takes guys like
curiosity,
time.
did your primary school bathrooms have urinals?
No. 2 toilets.
No. Ours didn't either.
Okay. Mine did.
So you've seen a lot of child dick.
I've seen a lot of child ass, because you know how a 6-year-old pees standing with pants all the way down and shirt pulled all the way up.
Yeah, like a shirt up holding by their like mouth, like they're holding with their mouth, like
yeah, they're holding with their mouth.
No. They're holding it with their hands, and they're not aiming. They're just pointing it in the general direction.
Oh. God,
I walked in on so many bare asses. My God.
But speaking of unspoken rules, so this came in like year 8. No, year 7. So some kid had a Razor scooter.
Wait, sorry, a what?
Yeah, a Razor scooter.
Oh,
the ones you could like fold up.
It's the scooter. He's just riding it. It's like Zeke Hale. It's like, oh God.
It was really racially charged. It was mental. But no, he started like swinging it above his head, and when he brought the scooter back down, half of the deck was lodged into some kid's head.
Oh no!
And it actually traumatized me so much for a kid, because I watched it happen, and it disappeared in this kid's head. And like the teacher just looks over and goes, oh. And she's hurrying all the kids inside. And then from that point on, it was like a game. Whenever someone started swinging the scooter above their head, everyone would get as close as possible.
What? Why?
I don't know. I always just observed it because I was smart, like my brain chunks.
I like my brain chunks, Gordon says when he's
not
true.
No one actually like got hit in the head again. There's all the shins that got removed. They saw a kid get like almost killed by this scooter, and were like, pussy, we can do that better than him.
I witnessed a kid lose their tooth.
I know this probably isn't like a common thing, but I have like, but like primary childhood like hospital stories.
Bro, I never went to a hospital as a kid.
I went to a hospital because once, and I'm not going into the detail of that story because I don't want to be on the internet.
Okay. Oh.
Are you stuck in a fucking washing machine?
No. I'll mention it when it's not when I'm not recording. It's just like, well, no, I don't need to mention it. It's personal shit.
I think I might know what it be.
Gordon, you probably know what it is, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a stupid one, so I can share that with the internet.
Tell that, and then I'm gonna go to my tooth story.
I had a training bike, and we went out for a bike ride. And we had to go down this incline that led into a like a small like lake that was connected to the ocean. It was low tide.
Oh no.
So I didn't understand the concept of slowly going down. It was either full pedal or nothing at all. So I got onto the ramp that led down into the lagoon. And like it was on a right turn, which like had no fence, so it sharply went into the low tide lagoon.
Ooh.
So I got on my bike and like rode down the ramp, and my parents were like, "Brake, brake!" And I was like, "I can't!" And then I fell into the lagoon, like head first, the bike landing on me, and I was unconscious. Like I was unconscious. I fell unconscious, and I was ended up like I woke up like in the once when someone was coming down to pick me up. Next when like I was in a car ride and it was at night, and then when I was at a hospital bed.
Motherfucker got a medevac for falling.
And the first thing I said, like when I woke up in the hospital bed and I like had some energy, you know what the first thing I said was?
What?
Did it look cool?
I told you I didn't want to go on a bike ride.
And
And then I fell unconscious.
How much anesthesia were you under?
I don't know. I don't think any. I was 6.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
That's-
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, the tooth story. So I witnessed a kid lose their tooth. It was very interesting. So it's very similar to Gordon's story he told a while ago about the thing you can crawl through. So they were fighting to the death up there, was what it seems. I think they watched some WWE. I don't know. I was watching this from a distance, like, oh, someone's gonna fall. One of them fell. Then one of them, I think, from what I'm trying to remember, pile drived onto that kid's face. Tooth on the ground. Panic stations, and I'm like, and that was the entire story, pretty much. I just went, so I was like, and that was pretty much it.
I have a similar story, except I was the one making the kid lose a tooth. So the idiot, the absolute buffoon, made the mistake of coming to school with a tooth that was slightly wiggly. And he showed me, he was really excited about it. He's like, look, and he started wiggling it. Without warning, almost instantly after he showed it, I just drove my fist into his face and knocked the tooth out. And the kid just looks at me and goes, why'd you do that? I was like, you wanted the tooth out. He's like, no, I didn't. I wanted it to fall out on time. I'm like, oh, well, now it's out.
I
so
lost
chuffed
2
about
teeth without knowing. One
you
when
swallow them?
both of them, I think I was just on the playground, like, oh, it's loose. I'm like, oh, it's gonna fall out any minute. I don't know when it happened, but I stopped paying attention for I think about 5 minutes. I'm like, I was running. I was like, oh, it's gone. Oh. Yeah.
Tyler's digesting a tooth as we speak.
I was at my grandparents, and I was eating popcorn, and I'm like, it's probably gonna fall out any minute now. It's gone. Oh. So 2 of my teeth were lost in my digestive tract for a little bit.
And then you pooped them back out.
And I pooped them out, and yeah, I'm like,
Bro, no,
tooth
the
fairy
scary
defense.
thing is, it would have come out as it went in.
Yeah. I didn't go look around my shit. I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna poop that out in like a week or so.
I don't know
I
why, but I
legitimately
like
thought
really
it took
random
2 weeks to take a shit. Like, the food you ate took 2 weeks to get through your tract.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I don't know why. I had this really random thing. I think it was probably a dream. Definitely a dream, because this is not at all biologically possible. But I have this memory of that dream where I just shit out pure peas.
Bro, you got
Just-
weird dreams.
I sat down on the toilet and then I looked in and it was just peas.
That's diarrhea, but with health issues.
Alright, I'm just gonna slightly move the topic. Pet days at primary school. Did you have any interesting stories about pet days?
I watched a kid get bit by a horse.
I've never actually had
What?
a pet day before, so
I watched one of my friends get bit by a horse.
Alright, let's hear that story.
She doesn't much to the story. He went up, he kept poking the horse, and the owner was like, if you don't stop it, it's going to attack. And he's like, no, it's a horse, it can't attack. Within seconds, the horse had its mouth on the kid's shoulder. Clamped down. The kid's just crying, and the adult there is just like, told you. And the teacher comes rushing over.
she got attacked by a horse. The best you can do is told you.
No, to be fair, the horse wasn't actually biting down hard.
Okay.
Like, it bit him, but it wasn't like, bye-bye
but he
shoulder.
was fine, he lived.
If that horse bit all the way down, he would have lost his arm. Like, Like the teacher comes running over, screaming like, "Why aren't you stopping it? What?" And the kids, the adults just, "I told him." And she's like, "That doesn't make it better."
Okay.
I'm just sitting there giggling to myself.
I was a Giga Brain child with this story.
Oh no!
So, pet day was coming up, and I thought, well, I have a dog, we have a cat, but like, I'm not gonna win because they're boring animals. So I did some research, right? I did some scouting. This was like weeks in the making, like Spy Matrix, like you know, like that type of shit. So I'm like, what do you think? I just went to talk to like heaps of kids, like, what are you gonna bring? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna bring my dog. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bring my cat. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people are bringing those. And I worked out like, right, so what's something I could bring so I could win a category that no one's in? And I thought about it. I brought 100 Slaters. And I won that category because I was the only person in that category of that
What the
type
hell
of
is a
animal.
Slater?
It's like a
it's like-
little, like armored bug.
You know, like if you break around rotted wood, there's like these little bugs that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's them.
How did you bring 100 of those?
Bro,
I
they're
did.
everywhere.
And like because I was a stupid kid, like, this is the stupid part of the story. Because I was a stupid kid, I was like to my mom, "Hey, I need a name for them. I should name them all." And my mom's like, "Don't do that." And I'm like, "Okay, but what should I name them all then? Like all of them as one?" And she said, what was it, Kelly Slater, because it was a surfer that she knew, like a famous surfer. And I'm like, that's a good idea. So I named that, and I think I got bonus points for that too. So I came out of it with a bouncy ball that bounced
Hey,
3 times
yo.
my height, and I'm like, this is sick! Boink!
Do you still have that ball?
No, I lost it like years ago, but like it's
Aw.
still a good fucking story for the sole reason of
Kelly
I did
Slater's
scouting
Kelly
to
Slater
bring
later.
Slaters, and I'm like, and I won.
You put too much effort into Pet Day.
Yeah. I think I brought a spider one year because I thought that was interesting.
This is my huntsman. It's not legally allowed in this country.
Well, it's like
The saddest thing
I
is-
always brought animals that thought no one else would bring for the sole reason I would win.
What the fuck? I only went to Pet Day for the food.
We didn't have food. It was just like bring your pet.
It's kind
look
of
after
sad because like, whenever we had like event days at schools, those are the only certificates I would get. Because I had like really good ideas, and I always came with something really creative, and I got like all the certificates for it, but I never got an academic one.
you. Bruh.
I only got big academic ones. I wasn't cool enough for the outside ones.
When graduating primary school, they do a whole big fucking ceremony.
Yeah.
They give every kid a certificate to say, congrats, you finished 6
You
years of
did.
school. You finished 6 years of compulsory schooling. And then
Yeah.
they give you a thesaurus.
You got a
At that-
thesaurus? I read
I got a
brainstem.
thesaurus. And I'm like, cool. But then they also give out like the awards in general.
Yeah.
And like half the class was just got them, and I'm like, huh. Sometimes I was like, huh, cool, I didn't get one.
Yeah.
Where's mine?
Bro, I was a fucking terrible child.
Me and my friend shared an award for one of those.
I can't remember how old I was, but I was playing touch rugby for a bit, of like a year for one season. And they gave out like best player award, like to motivate you. And I tried my hardest, and I didn't get one. And on the last one, when driving home, I burst into tears. And Mum's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I wasn't good at the sport." And she's like, she basically looked at me and was like, it was one of those moments where I think she was so tempted to say, "Please shut the fuck up. You're good enough." But like she did like the mum thing, like, "Oh yeah."
Well, no, I'm sure you're good. Bro,
It's
I got
funny.
most improved.
It's funny because I was like generally I didn't get awards because like basically everyone agreed I was already good at sports, so I didn't deserve to get awards for
That's the
improvement.
opposite. there was one kid who was good at sports, and he played every sport, and they always gave him the shit, even though it was like most improved. They always still gave him the shit because he just needed it, and so like he got like so many free Big Macs and shit. And I'm like,
You guys got rewards?
yeah, they did like Big Macs and like,
Oh, the reward
McDonald's
was
chicken
just the
nuggets.
certificate.
No, they
Bro,
like
the
for certain
reward for me was
sports
not
they
getting hit
gave
by the
like they
hockey
gave
stick.
straight up like like vouchers.
Well, like I
for
didn't actually get
fast
certificate.
food.
I was just like, it was like a verbal award.
Well, then it's like, congrats.
wow,
You're like,
you-
I feel motivated.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bro, if you got an award at my, like, because I played hockey, if you got an award, you weren't hit with a stick. Like, if you didn't get an award, you were swarmed and beaten.
My sister got hit with a stick once.
I got hit
I
with a
was
stick.
actually part of a
many
soccer
times.
team.
Oh,
Football,
hold on.
boy, football.
We'll go to soccer stories in a second. I really want to tell this
Actually, well,
the
it's
story.
football. Sorry.
Yeah,
but like,
football.
yeah.
I've got a story for that too. But like, my sister got hit with a stick once, like a hockey stick. She was playing hockey. I don't know what happened, but she had to get stitches because she got
I don't know.
smacked in the head
Yeah, no, that's
on
actually
her
really common.
eyebrow, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Are you okay?" And she's like, "It didn't hurt." And I'm like, "If I got hit with that stick, I'd be crying still now." Because I'm a little, basically was thinking because I'm a little bitch. All right,
Bro, one singular hockey season, I got hit in the head twice, the balls, the stomach, and someone hooked it around my Achilles tendon and pulled.
What the? F-
And then my team was always like, Gordon, why are you so violent towards the enemy team? I'm like, I have to injure them before they injure me. Like, that was actually my motive. Like, I even told my coach before every game, I'm like, I'm going to hurt them before they can hurt me. And he was always like, please don't. And during the games, at least one kid would fall over. And it would always be me running away from them. Because I would literally trip them up
Just
as
kill
I
the
ran
kids.
past to get to the puck. Like, I was an angry boy.
Angry boy. And now I'm an angry man.
Yeah!
All right, Brian, what's your football story? Football, soccer,
Hmm?
football.
I
Soccer.
actually no. I was just mentioning that I did football at one point. Like it wasn't actually that interesting because I lost my gear about a month into training, and I'm like, well, I can't show up to these anymore.
The only
sure
memory
not.
I have of doing it, because I did it when I was like 5, is there was a kid with the same name as me, and then my parents got along with like their parents, and so they sometimes brought me and I sometimes brought them, sort of thing. And the only other memory I have with this kid is that we went to KFC once, and that is it.
So were you Tyler M?
Mm.
Yeah. And what was he?
Tyler A.
Tyler Ross. Sorry, no, that's a child. I can't call them mean names.
He's not a child anymore.
You're
Yeah,
right,
no,
Tyler
same
Asshole.
age, yes, same. I have no clue what that kid's doing. He left like that year as well. But like, you meet people.
Bro,
I think that was the only reason we got along. Because I'm like, you have the same name as me, and then he was like, you have the same name as me. Ah, that was like the only reason we got along. Like in the first place, it's just like because we had the same name, so we're like, we're so cool.
Bro, recently on Facebook, of all places, some random bloke added me and was like, yeah, I think we went to school together. Like, can I ask you some questions? I'm like, mate, this is scamming 101. Piss off. The guy went through both my sisters, and then they came back to me like, do you know this guy? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Fucking stalking me. Like, he found out who my sisters were, added them messaged them on Facebook, trying to get to me, and I'm like, bro, if you went to school with me, I don't know your name. Shit, fuck off. It was like 12 years ago. Should you know, I went to with this guy in like years 1 and 2, and then moved away. How he remembers me, God knows.
I have another childhood story. So the only I was only allowed to be on like my tab because I had a tablet. And I was only allowed to be on it for like
Same.
1 hour between 7 to 8. That was it. But I found out my parents' phone's password, so I'd wake up at 2 in the morning and watch Yogscast on my phone and watch like
I mean,
on
what,
that phone. And
honestly,
watch
like,
Minecraft.
what
The
kid
issue
didn't
was.
just-
The issue, no, here's the issue though. My parents,
Sleep.
I never knew when they would wake up. Sometimes they'd wake up at 4 in the morning because dairying and shit. Sometimes they'd wake
Yeah.
up at like 6. So one morning, my dad got up. He's like, "Oh, where's my phone?" And he like was hunting for it. I'm like, "Uh-oh. I just put it in the hallway, like in the middle of the hallway. I didn't get asked about it. I think he knew because the password changed. And I'm like, fuck, very much. So then I'm like, so I woke up like, this happened for like 2 months. I just kept trying to guess their password, both my mum and my dad's, and I just couldn't get it. And I'm like, oh no. And so I just gave up. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I just won't do this anymore. Which sucked. But at the same time, I was waking up at 2 in the morning to watch YouTube videos. So,
Bro, you had a worse sleep schedule than I do.
Oh god, I remember 8-year-old me, like what I used to look up. God, no.
The mind of an 8-year-old is horrible.
it's just
Dude,
all Minecraft videos
Like,
for me.
I'm just gonna say this,
Mm.
like, dude, 8-year-old me was down bad for Minecraft. That's it.
Like, in what way? Like, you just want to watch more Minecraft or Minecraft porn?
I used to go on YouTube and just look up Minecraft sex.
Motherfucker!
Because I just found out what the word was, and I'm like, yeah.
I never looked at porn until I was fucking, like, 15.
It was
Well, I
YouTube.
wasn't even allowed on YouTube till I was 14.
And even then, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. They're doing things.
Oh, I just knew what
Oh,
the
look at
word
that.
was. I didn't know what it
Interesting.
meant. I was just kind of staring blankly at it, like, this is Minecraft.
Bro, I had to, like, secretly watch the Diamond Minecart, let alone porn.
I have it. I watched the because my nana, they had a computer set up and like there was another thing. It was like 3 in the morning. I was just watching Diamond Minecart play like adventure maps and shit, and my mom just comes in and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Watching Minecraft." And she's like, "Go back to bed." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just didn't. She went back to bed. I didn't. I just stayed up for like another 2 hours and then went to sleep. And they were like, "Huh? Well, I wonder why he woke up at night." And my mum knew. She's like, "Oh, he's probably been up all night on that computer." And like, she didn't know I stayed up the next few hours. So, yeah.
Bro, the Diamond Minecart was, like, every kid's insomnia reason.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond Minecart, Sunday, Bayesian Canadian, Stampy Longnose.
See, I found Stampy irritating even as a child.
I never watched Sunday or Stampy.
I didn't watch Sunday or Stampy. I was mostly Dan TDM.
I
did
watched
start
entirely
watching
Dan
Sunday
TDM.
after he started doing like mod pack things with Craner, and they did one with Captain Sparkles, and that was pretty good. So I watched that, but other than that,
When Sunday started doing like variety content, like stuff with other games, I got into them, and then I lost interest. And I recently looked back, and Jesus Christ, it's degraded.
yeah. Like,
Or-
I clicked on one the other day, and he's like, "You dudes know what we did in the last episode." I'm like, "This is the first episode
I
I've
don't.
watched," and he's like,
What did you
"I
do?"
got this wand that can use the power of trees," and I'm like, "What the fuck did I click on?"
Hey, yo, nice trees.
Oh, like you do see how far like those people have fallen.
Like, 10-year-old me secretly watching the Diamond Minecart was responsible for, like, a third of his views, I swear.
You were a third. I was a third. Brayan was the third. We're the only viewers. It was.
Yeah, we're the 3 Dan TDM fans.
Like, do you remember when the Diamond Dimensions came out?
Oh yeah.
Bro, that was so good. Like, I still go back and watch that. Like,
You got the lab.
Bro,
the
I'm
new
kind of
lab.
I miss
Do you
the
remember
lab,
watching him
dude.
when he made the new lab? He made the new lab.
I didn't see that.
He
Oh,
made a new lab,
yeah,
and
no,
then he
I remember. I was
destroyed
around
every
for New
mod
Lab. I was
in
around for New
Underground
Lab,
thing.
Gen.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yes, no, I do remember that.
he like started digging a tunnel underneath the thing, and there was like each mod had their own like little showcase thing. It was pretty cool.
Bro, if he still made content like that, like half of his audience would be like 16 to 18-year-olds just watching. Never mind the kids. The kids can go away.
The only like really old Dantinium clip I always think of is the one where it's the girlfriend mod. And he's just like, I give you this bread, so now you can go make me a sandwich, and it just cuts to his intro.
I remember when it was, like, it used to be like, you go on YouTube and you look up like the Dan TDM swore, and you'd be like, what?
He called something a bitch. Like
yeah,
it wasn't
'cause it was a
even
female dog.
violent. Like,
God, and then like, oh, fuck. The amount of
I was about
Skylar's
to go
Minecraft
treason.
I watched, Jesus.
oh my god, Sam.
Oh, dude. But shoot, I don't know why. I have the memory of like a song he did. It was
He did a cover of Paradise.
Yeah.
he did a cover of Paradise, but there was another. He did a cover of another song. I forgot what it was.
No clue. That's the one I remember. Well, on that note, I think it's time we end the episode 3 of the TweeCast.
Wait, really? That was quick.
It's been Brian. It's been an hour.
Oh shoot!
Talking
And-
about primary school memories
primary
really
school
flies by.
Really flies by. The PTS comes back. So join us next time where I devolve into a Minecraft variety YouTuber. Gordon eats a lot of sand, and Brian might be back.
Can
No,
I actually eat the sand?
Brian might commit treason, or might not be here.
Can we swap, Rob? I want to commit treason.
Or
Join us
no,
next time
50-50
where I
like,
become a
no.
variety YouTuber. Gordon commits treason, and Brian dies.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
You'll
I'm
be
an
here.
immigrant.
You commit
It's my
treason.
job to cut
Okay.
treason.
So join us next time where I become a variety YouTuber, Gordon commits treason, and Brian. Explodes.